universe, the lifeblood of all things, the home of a billion stars, each with its place in the order of the heavens, and each governed by the infinite law of the cosmos. As the ever-expanding energy of the universe continues to grow in a sea of fusion and creation, the infinite depth of the cosmic reality embraces itself in the fabric of destiny, and the awareness of mankind grows in accordance with the rule of cosmic law. Since the dawn of humanity, we have looked out towards the stars as if compelled by an unknown force, telling us, you are not alone. You are all part of the evolution of the universe, on your way to higher realms of enlightenment. The expanding universe, with its infinite complexities and compelling influences, is the kaleidoscope of man's dreams. With new attitudes and new points of view, our understanding is growing, bringing scientific influence towards new horizons. At last we are beginning to grasp the meaning of the primeval commandment, know thyself, which is inscribed over the portal of Delphi. Today we have a new model concept of science which proves that all natural systems, from minerals to man, inherit a collective memory of their kind. One of the great pioneers who achieved a breakthrough in this area is Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, a biologist whose remarkable discoveries shook the fundamentals of established science.
The entire basis for my work is the idea of the evolutionary universe. See, until 1966, most people thought of the universe as essentially static, most physicists. And the idea was that evolution occurs on Earth, in the biological and human realm, in a universe which is at best static, at worst actually running down, devolving rather than evolving. Since 1966, we've had the idea of an evolutionary cosmos, an evolutionary cosmology. And this changes everything, because now we see biological evolution in the context of cosmic evolution. And the idea of cosmic evolution gives us the idea that all of physics and chemistry, everything, is evolving. And this is what leads me to my main point, that if everything's evolving, then why shouldn't the laws of nature evolve too? Indeed, why shouldn't they be more like habits? This is the essential insight of my work on morphic resonance. And it depends entirely on this evolutionary insight into the whole of nature.
The awareness of our fundamental heritage is inherent in our being. The awakening of the wisdom of the whole is inexorably endorsed within the essence of our spirit. The influence from motivation to germination is the basis of our existence and is predictable in the course of our evolution. The pyramids reveal the wonders of our ancient past. They harness their proliferating energy from the cosmos that it may be utilized by another civilization in its many fields of endeavor. Our awareness of the origin of these citadels derives from past generations. It is inherent in the soul of civilized man to build such structures, reaching towards the source of unseen powers. The challenge of future accomplishment is the driving force behind human progress. From the horizon of the past, the traditions and memories of visiting cosmic teachers has remained engraved in cultural art. This tradition dates from the era when spacecraft visited Earth from distant worlds. Proof of the historical facts of continuing extraterrestrial visitations has been revealed by Eric van Däniken, a best-selling author who investigates the archaeological and ancient artifact connection.
We have been influenced by extraterrestrial beings for thousands of years, and will continue to be so in the future. And everything in its own time, the time of the possible. You could say that when an apple is ripe, it falls from the tree a couple of days later. The same is true in global thinking. The extraterrestrials influence us today. They influence prominent people, who then think positively and in turn influence others. There is a constant flow of energy, of thoughts, of new ideas, from the outside to the inside, and from inside to outside.
The ancient Indians of Peru were a highly advanced civilization who lived thousands of years ago in the jungle of South America. Their traditions speak of visiting spaceman. At their reservations are the amazing Nazca lines, which are etched into the earth and which are acknowledged as being aircraft runways and landing sites. Artifacts of great age have been found which closely resemble aircraft of today. The sensational crop formations of England have generated great interest, and the question has to be asked if there is any connection with the etching in Peru.
Ich kenne die Hopi-Indianer sehr gut. Sie leben heute in Arizona. Aber ihre alte Geschichte...
I know the Hopi Indians very well. Today they live in Arizona.
Seien sie im Raume Süd-
But their old traditions say that many, many thousands of years ago their home was in South America, and that at that time they were descended upon by extraterrestrial visitors called Kachinas.
übrigens gerettet.
These Kachinas also saved the Hopi Indians when their continent threatened to sink.
Himmlischen Wesen waren die
These heavenly beings, the Kachinas, were the teachers of the Hopi. And even today, the Hopi Indians make figures of the Kachinas for the younger generations,
Niemand.
so that no one should forget the visit of their original teachers from outer space.
Und heute noch sind die Hopi überzeugt.
And even today, the Hopi are convinced that one day the Kachinas will come again.
Als ich kürzlich White
In this connection, it's interesting that a short time ago I showed White Bear, one of the oldest members of the Hopi, pictures of the Maya cities Tikal and Palenque.
geriet ganz aus dem Häuschen und
He was beside himself with excitement and said, "We understand that. Our ancestors built that under the guidance of the Kachinas."
The great energy source of the cosmos can be extracted and focused to form a very potent electrical and magnetic power form. It is a power of great destructive potential, and the ability to control it can only be given to those of higher understanding and achievement. Such power sources were built into the Great Pyramids by another race thousands of years ago, when they needed recharging facilities for their spacecraft while on reconnaissance flights around the universe. The units were built within the protective framework of the pyramids to protect them from discovery. As the world focuses on the mystery of the Egyptian temples, our space probes have located similar strange pyramids on Mars.
We have the very mysterious structures on Mars, pyramids, and particularly the large humanoid face looking into the Martian sky. All the investigations on Mars with the Viking boats show quite clearly that Mars has been in the past different. The physical makeup points to an ecological system, and the pyramids again really make quite clear that they cannot be possibly natural structures. I really believe that they are artificial structures. The human or humanoid face on Mars shows that if there have been visitors in the past, a long time ago, then they were humanoid.
The readings of the early Bible told many stories of Earth being visited by heavenly teachers on blazing chariots who gave information of great wisdom. They told of how they had always been in the sky and would return one day. This is one of the prophecies of the Bible which was taken from the word of the visitors. How did modern man go about interpreting these holy clues? The visionaries of the past perceived the structure of the cosmos and its purpose. The life spirit of the elements is a constantly changing mirror of charged perception and energy. The spiral of conscious awareness is the consequence of harmonizing with this harmonic vibration. Within the evolutionary circle of cosmic regeneration is the life force of progression, through which the universal memory of intuition is formed. Leonardo da Vinci was a man of great vision. He realized the significance of the hologram of man in relation to his place in the order of the universe. Many of the first astronomers studied the sky principally from an ideological standpoint. Galileo Galilei applied himself to analyzing the cosmos with a view to finding out just how it worked. Kepler believed in the law of equal equation, whereby all scientific experience could be solved by the use of mathematics. The real world is the mathematical harmony discoverable in all things. He also had visions involving space travel, and this already at the beginning of the 17th century. In a letter to Galilei, he wrote, "Let us create vessels and sails adjusted to the heavenly ether, and there will be plenty of people unafraid of the empty wastes. In the meantime, we shall prepare for the brave sky travelers maps of the celestial bodies. I shall do it for the moon, you, Galilei, for Jupiter." Isaac Newton spent many years studying alchemical research, cosmic intelligences, and the soul of the world. His law of universal gravitation involves a holistic vision. Every particle of matter attracts every other particle. Everything is interconnected, but in Newton's opinion, such a force could not arise from the particles themselves. They had no such attractive power. Rather, said Newton, gravitational force depends on the being of God. It is an expression of his will. This aspect of Newton's thought was soon forgotten, however. The hidden forces permeating the space of the universe were soon attributed to matter itself. They arose from material reality rather than from God. And when God was finally dissolved completely away from Newton's vision, what was left was a world machine in absolute mathematical space and time, containing inanimate forces and matter, and entirely governed by eternal mathematical laws. Like Kepler, Albert Einstein was strongly imbued with a sense of the mathematical rationality of the universe. He wrote, "The individual feels the futility of human desires and aims, and the sublimity and marvelous order which reveal themselves in both nature and in the world of thought. Individual existence impresses him as a kind of prison, and he wants to experience the universe as a single magnificent whole." What a deep conviction of the rationality of the universe, and what a yearning to understand Kepler and Newton must have had. to enable them to spend years of solitary labor in disentangling the principles of celestial mechanics. Only one who has devoted his life to similar ends can have a vivid realization of what has inspired these men and given them the strength to remain true to their purpose in spite of countless failures. For 10,000 years, man has tried to equate with the enormity of the cosmos. The concept of an evolutionary universe, which started with gods from the stars, spaceships and telescopes, would carry us into a totally changed life. Chris Griscom is the founder of the World Light Institute and the School for Global Consciousness. She teaches the harmony of man in relation to his place in the universe and the higher levels of awareness of the mind as applied to the cosmic laws.
Everything is living. Everything within our perceptual fields and beyond our perceptual fields has the spark of life. The universe is just a further expression of what we can touch and smell and see. We are made of carbon atoms. The stars are made of carbon atoms. The earth is made of carbon atoms. We are all interpenetrating and moving within the same medium. When the consciousness is able to feel this, as a child does, for a child, a rock is living and speaks, or a bird, or a plant. And so the child has the opportunity to identify with the universe. We have lost that identification. It's necessary for us now to go beyond the contraction of our daily lives in order to understand the purpose of our existence. And the universe provides us with a wonderful backdrop to do that, a wonderful capacity to extend out beyond the limited small self and regain that sense of belonging with something bigger than our individual selves.
So we turned our faces towards the heavens in the hope of finding a deeper understanding of ourselves, to participate in the quest for universal knowledge, and to hold out our hands in the search for possible cosmic neighbors.
If we consider that most of the stars in the Milky Way are twice as old than our Sun, 10,000 million years old, then obviously there may be highly advanced old civilizations which have developed interstellar travel. So my answer would be it is more than likely, not only possibly, but more than likely, that extraterrestrial visitors are traveling to other solar systems, other planetary systems. Thus, we really should expect extraterrestrial visitors in our solar system observing human civilization.
As fantastic as this may seem, photographs of unknown flying craft, known as UFOs, have been taken around the world, captivating the public's attention for decades. This photograph was taken in 1978 in Brazil. This was photographed in Switzerland in 1975. These two UFOs were also photographed in Switzerland in 1975. This was taken in 1971 in Austria. This one was seen in 1987 in Canada. This UFO was photographed in Germany in 1977. This was taken in Colombia in 1971. This photograph of a shiny silver object was taken in North Charleston, South Carolina in 1980. Yet another photograph from Switzerland taken in 1975. This UFO with a cloud-like vapor was taken in 1974 in Denmark. This UFO was sighted in 1977 in Uruguay. A UFO in Indonesia, photographed in 1974. These three luminous flying objects were photographed in Barcelona, Spain in 1978. Every year, increasing numbers of UFO photographs are being taken by witnesses from around the world, giving growing evidence of extraterrestrial visitors. In 1946, George Adamski, a professor of philosophy, using his cine camera, took the first moving pictures of alien spacecraft. This film shows the strange flight pattern of these machines. This picture shows three balls beneath the craft serving as condensers for static electricity. This film, also taken by Adamski, shows a telemeter disc, described as being a very small but highly technical reconnaissance craft. Adamski was an amateur astronomer who had a 6-inch telescope on the slopes of Mount Palomar. In 1946, he observed a huge cigar-shaped UFO and was astounded to see many smaller UFOs emerge from the mother craft. He was able to take a series of photographs of this amazing sight. After taking many photographs of these alien flying machines, an event took place which would change the course of Adamski's life. On November 20th, 1952, he had his first contact with a human-looking alien visitor. Adamski was walking in a desert canyon in California when he came face-to-face with an extraterrestrial standing beside a landed spacecraft. The alien told Adamski that the meeting was not by accident and that he had come to give a message. He warned of the danger we were creating by exploding nuclear weapons. He said that the human race had no idea of the very powerful and deadly long-term effects we were creating, which could not only destroy ourselves, but also our planet, and that the continued use of such weapons could eventually endanger our cosmic neighbors. Adamski was asked to spread this message. The alien visitor promised that he would return and meet Adamski at a later time. Adamski was later taken for flights into space, where deeper, more meaningful messages were given to help the human race to understand another point of view of our world. Adamski devoted his time to spreading the visitor's message and was later joined by a Danish Air Force Major, Hans Petersen.
Well, you see, after the contact in the desert, George had an inner feeling that this was not the end of it. On one of his flights, made more flights, but one in particular he was taking on board a mothership, which is a very, very large ship, was taking all the other vehicles into our atmosphere. And in there, he met a lot of people, and he met an old man, so to speak, a wise man, who told him a lot of why they were here and what we did wrong here on Earth. And after these experiences, George wrote a book, Inside the Spaceships.
In this book, Adamski described in detail the very advanced technology used in the spaceships, including technical information on the magnetic and gravitational propulsion systems, which work on a power found throughout the universe. He also described a magnetic pole running through the center of the ship that was also a very powerful periscope, which could observe both above and below the craft with great magnification. Adamski's alien friends gave him a pendant to wear around his neck, and was told it would increase his telepathic abilities and enable him to maintain contact with them. Another witness who was truly shattered by his experience when he saw and photographed a UFO was Dr. Daniel Fry. Dr. Fry was a rocket engineer and the head of a scientific team employed by the American government at the White Sands Missile Proving Grounds in New Mexico when he took these films and photographs. On July 4th, 1949, Dr. Fry was contacted by alien visitors for the first time. They informed him that mankind lives in danger of total self-destruction through means it had created itself, and that Earth technology was advancing faster than man's ability to control himself. He was told that peace was the automatic byproduct of understanding between man, and race, also that the understanding of fellow human beings was the key to building a united world.
The most significant experience that I had is probably the finding out of the major purpose for this invasion, so to speak, was to keep this planet alive, that we're approaching an area of controversy which could result in the displacement of all humanity, because we had learned how to do that without learning how to get along, they said.
When those among you responsible for your scientific achievements realize the significance of the destructive forces you are creating, only then will you understand that you are destroying your living planet, which is responsible for your very existence.
We are here to advise, guide, and encourage you to turn your eyes towards the creation of a planet of peace and understanding, where your invention and universal ability coexist with the creative force of the cosmos. We are your brothers of the Galactic Federation, who wish only to have you by our side. We cannot join you until your thoughts turn from self-destruction to the eternal law of universal knowledge and understanding.
Dr. Fry later wrote a book called Two Men of Earth, in which he told the story of his experiences and contacts with the space visitors. He continues to travel, giving lectures and spreading the word from his alien friends. Dr. Fry attracts a great deal of support from people in all walks of life.
We rushed outside, and there came a spaceship sailing, passing us, making a curve, going down south and coming in from the south, passing over our heads and disappearing to the north. And 1 hour later it came back and passed in low altitude, and it passed the moon, which has come up meanwhile.